Hey guys, what's going on? So this isn't necessarily a video that I want to make, mostly because I don't really have a lot of thoughts on this, or at least not a lot of thoughts that I haven't already expressed. But it's a video that I feel like I should make, and that is because I assume somebody out there is gonna write a comment on whatever my latest video was or whatever my latest community post was, and ask me what are my thoughts on Robot Rework and the Meteor Rework. And my thoughts are detailed very extensively I believe it's detailed very extensively in my Clock of Power rework idea. The very specific change to both cards are they don't want Toxic to be a thing. And this has been my problem with this game for a very long time. The game lacks variance. There is no variance in this game. And by chipping away at how bad Toxic is, I know that there's a lot of people that will champion this and be like, oh, I hate when people shaman me. I hate when people witch me. I hate when people do whatever. They're slow chipping away at Toxic, nerfing Clock to where nobody even plays it with the Dark Inquisitor deck. It doesn't even matter. You can have a level 15 Clock. You can have 13 Clocks on your board and a Dark Inquisitor, and you will still lose to Phoenix Kobold. It doesn't matter. You can have 13 level 7, Clocks at level 15, and it doesn't matter. Shaman, taking away the targeting on Shaman, taking away the targeting on Pocket Curse, nerfing Necromancer, nerfing Witch, everything that they have done, nerfing Frost, nerfing Summoner, the Summoner Toxic talents, everything that they have done over the last 2 years or however long it's been since that started, they're slow chipping away at Toxic being the only variant deck that you can build to theoretically beat whatever the meta deck is. They have a problem with it working universally. It just works on every deck. So not only would it be that good against the meta deck, but it would be that good against every deck. And I trust that that's why the ultimate choice to nerf it comes in. Because if it's good against everything, then it just becomes the best deck, and the best deck is not something that they can monetize. They can't say, this is the best DPS damage dealing thing, and everything else pales in comparison. Buy this card. It's just that everybody already has Harlequin and Shaman and Witch and Clock and Summoner and, Mime and, whatever you would throw into a Toxic deck. They might not have a Necromancer. You could theoretically monetize Necromancer, or you can do deals, buy profitably sales on Necromancer. But for the most part, Snowflake, Robot, they nerfed Snowflake to where you get a tile that shoots stuff. Robot has been nerfed so to where it's not it has no Toxic talents anymore. It is a strictly bad DPS unit. And I say bad DPS unit because it's not as good as Kobold because it's not supposed to be. Meteor doesn't have, I thought they were going to take away the percentage damage or the insta-kills, but the specific thing that they took away was the Toxic ability, the Apocalypse ability. So they nerfed that again to where it doesn't even exist. So if you weren't playing back in the day, the Apocalypse ability used to straight up destroy something. No matter what rank it was, it would just basically warlock one of your opponent's things on the field. And if it wasn't being protected by a Night Statue barrier or a Mermaid barrier, it would just die. And so late game when you were starting to cycle through your meteors, you could just start warlocking just everything on your opponent's side, and you could win that way. They changed that to instead it reduces the rank by 3 So if you had a level 4 thing, it's now a level 1 thing. If you had a 3 or below thing, it's now dead. If you had a 6 thing, it's now a 3, right? So it still exists, but it's not as good as what it was. And now it's just gone. Now it's just a damage thing. It's whatever. The slow taking away of Toxic takes away the variance in this game. There is no variance. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to make Necromancer a damage-based thing. It no longer appears on your opponent's field. It only appears on your field, and you get some field bonus. It no longer shamans. Instead, it gives the thing in your square a damage bonus. I wouldn't be surprised if they change Witch. Instead of cursing your opponent's monsters, you can instead give your field a bonus 5% damage for 10 seconds whenever you merge. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed Shaman, if they decided to come out with Shaman talents, and now instead of Shaman, shamaning opponents down, it's just a damage unit. It's just a bad damage unit now. Or maybe it's a shaman and it's kind of like a witch and it instead gives damage bonuses, but they're not as good as Kobold. Like, the idea that they are specifically trying to make the game a strictly DPS game where they can control the best DPS card. They can introduce a card that has 1,000,000 damage and everything else has 1,000 damage. And everything else, oh, don't worry, we'll nerf that card. It only has 100,000 damage. But this new card has 2,000,000 damage, right? Oh, okay, we'll nerf that card. It only has 1,000,000 damage. But this new card, it has 5,000,000 damage to start with, right? That's what this game is. That's what this game is slowly becoming. If there is no other deck that can beat a main deck, then every other deck doesn't matter. And that is where this game is going. There is no, if you're playing against Kobold Phoenix Stasis as of right now, but pre-PvP change with Death Waves, right? If you are playing against Kobold Stasis, if every game you start playing against Kobold Stasis Phoenix, every single game, there is nothing that you can do to beat it. You will just lose every single game. If you have it, then you're 50-50 with it. And if you don't have it, you're just going to lose every single game. You can't switch your strategy. You can't do anything better. You will just lose. And that is very bad for this game. I understand why they're doing it from a business perspective. I hope that people talk about this is the thing. I hope that people actively talk about the idea that there is no way to beat the best deck. You can pretend if you have Genie and you get really lucky, if you have Bard and you have a Zeus and a Stasis, you could probably beat the Phoenix Kobold. No, you can't. You can't. And as soon as you can, they'll nerf it. If the best thing that they just introduced is not the best thing, they will nerf every other card. It's been proven. When the Corsair strategy was beating the meta, they took away Corsair's percentage damage. There is no way to beat the best deck. And that's why it's the best deck. And the best deck is a damage-based thing. And there's nothing you can do. So how do I feel about 2 more things in the toxic, pool of cards being nerfed? I mean, I don't care because now I'm a, newly reformed free-to-play person. I don't really feel like I need to spend any more money in this game. And so I'm literally just playing this as a single-player person. I don't care. I'm going to get my 7K trophies like I have been. I'm going to probably not play co-op because there's no reason to. I'm very close to a reincarnation 1. That's kind of cool. But I have no desire to be the best, is what I'm trying to say. And there's no reason to be. Because as soon as you max out your Reincarnation 3 Phoenix, they're just going to introduce some new event that's better than Phoenix. That does more things, that does better things, that has better protection, that has better damage capacity. Because they are designing this game to be what they want it to be. And not what you can think of creatively. Because every time you can think of something creatively to do with this game, they're like, oh no, that's not good. We have to change that. Do you remember when the Sharpshooter deck was a thing? Sharpshooter J? Do you remember when Sharpshooter J was a thing? Sharpshooter and J was so broken. It was an uncommon, like it was a rare card with a rare hero, and it was going up with the best of the legendary decks, and they immediately nerfed it. Because it's not supposed to be good. Because they don't want it to be good. They want the game to be a DPS game, and that's it. No recourse, no anything. You're going up against something that does 1,000,000 damage, and everything else that doesn't do 1,000,000 damage does 1 damage. That's it. That's the game. That's the game you're playing. I hope you're having fun.